Hey, it's Terrence here, the real estate consultant. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. It's geared towards specifically towards buyers in preparation, what to do from a time frame perspective, putting yourself in a position where you're ready to make a home purchase and you got all your ducks in a row. You've found an agent, you got a consultation set up in place, and now you have more knowledge going into it, and you have a strategy in terms of from where you are, renting, living with a parent, or roommating, whatever the case may be, to actually home ownership. So first thing you want to start with is the why. Why are you doing it and why now? Okay, from a time frame perspective, you also want to take a look at it and say, okay, well, is now's the best time for me? How many months I have left on my lease agreement? Are there a lease agreement in place? With penalties will I incur if in fact I bought a home and I do have a lease agreement on a home? I mean, on an apartment or a home. So with that being said, you want to make sure, in addition to that, that you do have the back end stuff taken care of. You know, what's your credit score? Are you in a position to be able to qualify based on your current score? And also, too, do you have any reserves, any money to put down on a home if in fact your situation warrants it? And in this market, you want to most definitely have a less likelihood of being able to ask a seller to facilitate being able to help you with closing cost assistance. So all those things are something that you want to pay keen attention to and be mindful of when you're in the process of getting ready to buy a home. And of course, you want to speak to a lender, I would say first, even before you take a look at a house, because the most important thing that you want to do is that make sure that you're able to get a home within your budget, and it's not one that's not going to leave you house poor or run the risk of doing all this due diligence, getting yourself built up, and come to find out you can't even afford the house that you fell in love with already. So it's an extreme heartbreak that could put you back on the sideline and you continue renting. So with that being said, I just want to highlight and dive deeper into the 3 key points that I spoke about initially. Was that being able to know why from a time frame perspective. When should I get started? Why should I wait for the market to cool off? And it all depends on your unique situation to you. Is it something that you want to do right now, or something you want to wait another year to do? The people that waited a year to buy homes this year and didn't do anything last year because the pandemic was initiated or kicked off and happened, is now paying a 15-20% more for a home today during the same time that the houses was the same time last year in the market. So would it be like that next year? Who knows? What I do know is that if that's something that you want to do, I think it's something that you should get started on expeditiously or as soon as possible. So how do you go about doing this? I would say, again, contact a real estate agent and also contact a lender simultaneously. Most lenders can refer you to an agent, and most agents can refer you to a lender. They can give you basically options, and I think having 2-3 different options when it comes to a lender would be ideal if you're in a position to be able to make that happen. Now, you as an individual, you should also have some personal responsibility in knowing what your credit score is, what your bank account balance is, how much you have to, in savings and or in a money market account or some other kind of financial tool that you can pull from to put down on a home if in fact you need it. And of course, when you buy a home, you most definitely want to make sure that you got reserves to handle any repair issues that may come up, because you can't call a maintenance person like you can in an apartment. This is all on you 100%. So with that being said, I want to move forward to the next aspect of it, is saying, okay, now you've taken care of the background stuff. Okay, you know your debt to income ratio, you understand what it takes to actually put down, how much you need to put down on a home, you save some money, you got your credit scores on point. Now you want to go about, of course, talking to a lender to be able to get some more in-depth financial aspect and saying, how does this process work? Do I got to pay any money out of pocket? And if so, how much? And how long does this process take? Most processes from a lender, from an initial approval after you've got a contract in on a home to closing, typically takes about 30 to 45 days. Of course, it can be shorter. I've seen it be shorter, and I most definitely have seen it be longer than 45 days. So you want to look at the logistics of your current living situation to determine exactly how best to deal with that aspect of it as well. And of course, once you start to take a look at homes, you want to, also another key point you want to talk to your lender about is like, okay, how much house can I afford per month? Like, what would my note be? What is the comfortable level that I'm accustomed to or comfortable with paying versus what I would have to pay on a house that I really, really want? Now, those 2 things need to match up and measure up, because again, you do not want to be left house poor, which means that you have the house that you want, but you can't maintain the lifestyle that you had prior to buying the house. And if one thing go wrong in your life, then everything is upended. You're in foreclosure, and or you got to sell the house and then move back into an apartment. So dealing with the right financial lender as well as the right real estate agent is going to help set you up for long-term success, as opposed to just being a transaction. You'll be taken care of as a true client with long-term benefit, and they'll check in on you to make sure that everything's going good over the life cycle of you owning a home. So with that being said, we'll move forward to the next aspect of it, is just going out, taking a look at houses, and really being able to find the ideal house that matches your specific needs, wants, and desires. Is there a perfect house out there for you? It could be, but I've seen where people build custom homes. You know, house get built, may take a year or so to get the house built. As soon as they get the house built, something new comes out, something that they hadn't seen on Pinterest, Instagram, home magazines, anywhere on the internet, and now they want to make some additions to the home. So yes, you can have your dream home, or you can have your forever home, so to speak. But with that being said, I also know that over time as a homeowner, it's some stuff that you may want to change, especially this thing about what happened within the last 18 months is that we've been, a lot of people have been spending way more time where they're currently living at, as opposed to before, when, you're able to be out and about far more than you was prior to the pandemic. So with that being said, things change, in short. So you want to keep that in mind. So if you want a pool, you want to make sure that you got a yard to put a pool there at some point in the future, if the home doesn't come with a pool. Also too, if a pool is something that you want, you need to do some research on what it's going to cost to put a pool in, as opposed to just arbitrarily just kind of thinking about, okay, cool, I can allocate $10,000 for an in-ground gunite pool, and it's just not going to happen on any realm of possibilities in any market, from just because the cost of pools are so much more than $10,000, other than above ground pools, and those pools are upwards of $20,000 as well. So those are some key things that you want to take to heart, and also want to take note of. So with that being said, I just wanted to dive deeper into highlighting those key aspects of it. But I would say most definitely start with a real estate agent that's going to give you an in-depth consultation on what to expect, what the process entails, and also makes you feel comfortable enough to know you can bring them any questions. Even if the question is repeated multiple times, they should be able to answer that. If they don't have the answers, they should be able to get the answers for you. So we're always open for free consultations. Of course, visit TerrenceHillRealEstate.com or give me a call directly at 901-691-2722. Thank you for your time.